Creativity is just problem solving. And today I'm going to show you two methods that will boost your creative potential. The first is something you might already know, designing within parameters. But the second one is a game changer and something I learned from David Lynch's book, Catching the Big Fish. It involves destroying your project and then building on the chaos. This will unlock creativity in ways you never thought possible and get a little weird. And with this method, I ended up creating something I never would have imagined. This one definitely gets weird and is brought to us by Squarespace. I love the thrill of finding unique items at the thrift store and transforming them into something unexpected. But visualizing the final look isn't always easy, but that's where the fun and the magic comes in. It's a great exercise in making something you would never think to make, and working with these limitations and parameters from these objects helps me explore my creative side. I found these two mini organizers for $5. Each has 3 plastic drawers, and the plan is to take the 6 drawers and make a wood cabinet that'll hold them all. I've done something similar in the past, but this time I really want to get crazy with the design. So, before we get to the destruction part of this project, we must first build. Earlier this year, I tried to get in the habit of sketching a project every day without worrying about practicality or feasibility. The purpose is to learn to get more creative with my designs and better at sketching. I don't think I'm very good at getting the idea from my head to paper, so I want to improve upon that and get faster at sketching. For me, ideas go away as quickly as they come, and if I don't sketch them out, I'll forget them forever. So many times I would have this amazing idea, but I didn't get it down on paper fast enough, and I would just tell myself, well, if you can't remember it, then it wasn't a good idea. But I know deep down that's not true. There's just so many distractions and decisions that need to be made throughout the day that the ideas just get lost and more important things take over my brain. I worked at Kmart for 8 years, and during that time, I was a singer in a few bands. Nearly all the lyrics I wrote came while working at Kmart, and when you're mindlessly restocking shelves all day, your brain is free to imagine whatever you want. And even though I was doing a job that I didn't enjoy, I feel like it was one of the most creative times of my life. There was just less to occupy my mind, and I was free to write whatever song idea would come to me. I'd pull off the signs off the shelf and write on the back of them. I have so many lyrics written on the back of Kmart sales signs. And I would like to make my official apology to Kmart and its customers for causing so much pricing confusion. You can blame me for the bankruptcy. So I do feel that writing and sketching things down on actual paper is really important in the creative process. I got a little off track, but one of the sketches I made would work perfectly for this project. At this point, I knew it wouldn't be the final look, but I could use this as the idea to get started. For this project, I want to explore something new, and I got this brilliant idea from David Lynch.
The idea just needs to be enough to get you started, because for me, whatever follows is a process of action and reaction. It's always a process of building and then destroying, and then out of this destruction, discovering a thing and building on it. Nature plays a huge part in it. Putting different materials together, like baking something in sunlight, or using one material that fights another material, causes its own organic reaction. Then it's a matter of sitting back and studying it and studying it and studying it, and suddenly you find you're leaping up out of your chair and going in and doing the next thing. That's action and reaction.
David Lynch is one of my all-time favorite human beings on this planet. He is an American treasure. He is an artist in every sense of the word and nearly every medium of art. Books, film, music, painting, woodworking, sculptures. His life philosophy aligns with what I want to be. This all relates to what we're working on here, I promise. So I want to make 2 separate cabinets, each with 3 drawers, and then as David Lynch mentioned, destroy them. I want to cut them up and then combine them together and react to this. Build, destroy, react, build. This process takes away some of the burden of trying to come up with a complete and finalized idea at the beginning. I only need a seed of creativity and then I can fertilize it along the way. This allows the piece to speak to me and tell me what it wants to be as I'm making it. I know this all sounds crazy deep for a woodworking video, but that's where I'm at in my journey. I no longer want to make how-to videos or tool videos, but instead I want to push my creative limits. There's over 450 videos on this channel. I made those videos for you, and I made those videos for the algorithm. Now I want to make videos for me. And I know that might sound selfish, but I think there's a lot of value in that for the audience while I try to write the next chapter in my life. There's a lot of pieces for these cabinets. Each of the 6 drawers is going to fit in its own hexagonal cubby, and then 3 cubbies will be glued together to make 2 cabinets. There's also 2 different angles to deal with, and it's important on which side of that piece that particular angle goes on. There's a 45-degree angle here, and a 67.5-degree angle here and here. And then more walnut needed to be resawn for the fronts and backs, which fits into dados cut into all the pieces. And since there are so many crazy angles for this project, I thought it would be fun to add even more angles by chamfering all the edges. So I've got the 2 cabinets glued up. This is the part where I start cutting them up to combine them. And this is quite scary because there's so much work put into these and it could all fall apart. I know it's not going to, but man, this just feels wrong. We'll start the destroy process here shortly, but I'd like to quickly introduce to you Design Intelligence from Squarespace. Just like we're combining these 2 cabinets into one, Squarespace is combining 2 decades of industry-leading design expertise with cutting-edge AI technology to unlock your creative potential. AI, not to replace your creativity, but to unlock it. This is huge. It has never been easier to start a website. And I've been saying that for a long time, but it keeps getting easier. With AI, you still have to have a good idea. And then Squarespace, with its design intelligence, is going to help you share that idea with the world. Not too long ago, you used to have to pay somebody to make you a website. The technical skills of making a website is different than the technical skills of designing a website. So you either needed to find a team or a person with both of those skills. How do I know this? I used to be a web developer, and then about 10 years ago, I had enough and changed all of my websites to Squarespace, even before they were a sponsor. And now with Squarespace, it's all combined into one and you just need your idea and Squarespace is going to take care of the rest. It's so easy. So visit squarespace.com and when you're ready to launch, visit squarespace.com/make something for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. All right, let's honor David Lynch and start the destruction process. I wanted to cut both cabinets at an angle and combine them. I didn't know what my next steps were going to be, and I was just going to let the piece tell me what it wanted. What I didn't know was how much sanding and muscle it would take to get those two cut surfaces perfectly flat. Once those offcuts fell off at the bandsaw, I knew instantly what my next steps were going to be. I was going to glue them back onto the cabinet and emphasize all the crazy angles that this thing has. Two of them were going to get used for the feet, and the remaining pieces would be used for the top, just for embellishments. It was really hard to get finish in all the nooks and crannies and inside the cabinet, so I put my custom blend inside a spray bottle and sprayed it in there, and that worked great. This went way outside of what I would normally design, and I never would have made this without the limitations of using the thrift store drawers and the build, destroy, build process from David Lynch. I love it. If I would have drawn up this final design at the very beginning, I think I would have been overwhelmed with all the complexities and never would have begun the project. But because I didn't know what it was going to look like at the end, I never set those internal barriers. Like I mentioned at the very beginning, creativity is just problem solving. And since I am so shocked by the outcome of this, I will definitely be using the build, destroy, build process in future projects. Over on this week's behind the scenes video on Patreon, I'll discuss how I designed the drawers to keep them from falling out and what I'm going to do to the drawers to add a pop of color. I like to thank my Patreon members for all their support as I try and reinvent myself here on YouTube, and a huge thanks to Jim from Wiserbees for being a top supporter. Patreon members get private Discord access, monthly coupons, behind the scenes videos, and early and ad-free videos. If you like watching me push my creative limits, check out this video where I take this 50-year-old calculator and recase it in wood. It's one of my favorite art projects I've ever made. As always, be safe, have fun, stay passionate, and make something. And destroy something, and then make something.